Hi and welcome to KDKB, Crazy Darcy's Crazy Blog. This is the first episode of what will become a fortnightly blog. Sometimes it will be on how I'm creating an image, other times it may be on the creation of props or costumes or even creative experiments. Today, I'll show you the initial concept sketch on my tablet for an image, then you'll see how I made the figurines I needed in the first part of the photo shoot for it. The prep work and photo shoot of the live material will also appear, and finally a sequence of progressively saved images as I created the final image in Photoshop. So, on with the blog. Here we have the initial concept for the clay army. To come up with the figurine, to get the proportions correct, I used a toy soldier to trace around. The tracing I modified to suit what I want them to wear. On the left you can see the greatcoat version. On the right was a not used version with smock. That was then traced onto greaseproof lunch paper for working with the clay. That way the clay wouldn't stick to the paper. And here I'm making a wireframe which will be like a skeleton within the clay to help the clay stay in shape. The wire I'm using is simply florist wire, not really thin but not really thick. I could theoretically have used coat hanger wire, but that would have been too bulky given that these figures are only going to be about 4.5 inches tall. To get them roughly the right size, I cut them and laid them over the outline, but being a wee bit taller, because when I'm twisting them during the assembly stage, that over length will be taken up, which once I finish cutting it, I cut for 8 sets, as you can see. The two upright pieces act as the legs, twisted together and make the head, and then the other one for the arms is tied into that one. It goes from one hand to the other. Just using little snips to cut it here. And as you'll see in a moment, you'll see all 8 of them lined up, ready to be put into the clay. And here they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. This brand of clay I'm just using simply because it was air dried. I don't think other people in the household would appreciate me sticking non-edible things in the oven. But I got 4 figurines out of a block, and a little bit left over, which we'll need later. One, 2, 3, and 4. 4 pieces for 4 figurines. 2 blocks to make 8. The clay has to be shaped in so it covers the whole outline there, which is needed. Apologies for the poor filming there, it was done on my lap. There we get the making sure that the whole body is covered. Once I have the clay in the rough shape needed, I then lay the wireframe over it and push it into the clay,
then squeeze the clay over it to bury or embed the wireframe inside the clay. At this stage I haven't really done much shaping. Once I've got the wireframe completely embedded in the clay, I'll then start to do initial shaping. Dipping my fingers in some water. And now I've got the wire embedded, getting the knife I'm going to start using the knife to cut the clay to the body shape I'm needing. Periodically checking against the outline on the paper. To do the arms, I've got to cut up this up to the armpit, because the wire should be within the arm area. This means I can bend the arms out ever so slightly for shaping. I then do the same for the other arm here, where you can see it clearer what I'm doing. It also means I can actually shape the trunk a bit easier. Oh, don't forget to cut out the feet. But of course, that little bottom bit will get squished later on. Just making sure they stand up. Now, as you can see, it's starting to take shape here. Making sure we've got the bottom edge of the coat and the separation on the feet. There we have a very, very rough shape. And here we have 4 roughly shaped figures. And here they are with the bodies and arms being smoothed. Now we see 2 of them already detailed with their grey coats. Here you can see they've all got their with their shoulder boards, their collars added, front pockets added, and their some sort of rough face on them. Here we see the front side of one, and now we see the back side of one that has been completed. Here's a close-up of the head and shoulders of all 8. Note how the opening goes up into under the collar. The last one has a broken head. The head didn't work when I tried making it, and so he became the broken one that's needed in the photo shoot. All 8. Here, for using a light bounced off an umbrella, just a desk lamp, another desk lamp, to light the figurines. As you can see, the sort of camera view that I was working with using the lens macro. And the figurines. As the greatcoat needed to be splattered with clay, it has been covered with similar fabric, so that way we don't have to try and clean the greatcoat. The fabric was also to help keep the chunky appearance of a greatcoat. And here I am in the greatcoat with clay also splattered on me. And here I am with the helmet as well. This is the live view feed from my Pentax camera on my television. The screen is blinking whenever it takes a photo. These are just some of the shots taken of the live model. And we will see in a moment, we will see the image clay soldiers being created in Photoshop. Each of these is the Photoshop file as the image developed. And the finished clay soldiers image.
That was the first episode in my fortnightly creative blog. I hope you find it interesting and it triggers ideas of your own. For me, it was a learning experience as it was my first project working with both video and audio, both of which created challenges that I had not anticipated. Feel free to leave constructive comments below. Both the image clay soldiers and other artworks of mine can be found at krazydarcy.deviantart.com. That's Krazy Darcy with a K. So thanks for watching. Krazy Darcy's Krazy blog.